My name is Harry, and I'm from London.
Meghan Markle here.
This was why the royal family used the British media to attack Meghan Sussex. She was being used as their shield. Okay, an internal email chain among U.S. government personnel documents the receipt of a report alleging that Ghislaine Maxwell sold a girl into sexual slavery and torture in the 1990s, resulting in her death, with Prince Andrew named by the reporting individual as an accessory. My God. I cannot see this. Is it big? Yeah, it's even smaller. Girl found dead at the syndrome died within days of going missing, claimed police. Prince Andrew broke £385 million deal with Gaza regime while working as British trade envoy. Alright, so there's this. I'll enlarge it when I'm editing, so you guys could read it. Alright, the black couple information. That was, I could see this Friday, October 2nd, 2020. So not too long ago. Alright, so there's no comment. Next tweet. Now this is, I think, Sky News talking about it. It's a video. Alright, so let's listen. Sky News read out some of the newly released email between Jeffrey Epstein and Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. 3 minutes and 33 seconds. This is an AI thing. Let's listen.
Hey James, that picture of the man formerly known as Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein, that's there for a reason. I can read you a few email exchanges, Barbara, between the pair. Let's have a look at this one to begin with. This is from August 2010, and Jeffrey Epstein wrote in this email, I have a friend who I think you might enjoy having dinner with. Her name is, and he names a Russian woman. She will be in London 2024. Andrew replies, of course, I am in Geneva until the morning of 22nd, but would be delighted to see her. Will she be bringing a message from you? Please give her my contact details to be in touch. Epstein writes, she 26, Russian, clever, beautiful, trustworthy, and yes, she has your email. Andrew replies, that was quick. How are you? Good to be free. Epstein responds, great to be free of many things. Andrew then writes, great. Any other information you might know about her that might be useful to know? Like what have you told her about me? And have you given her my email as well? So that's one email, Barbara. That same month, Epstein emailed to the Duke at the time, already in London, he said. What time would you like me? And a redacted name. We will also need have private time. Andrew replies, I'm just departing Scotland, should be down by 1800. I'll ring you when I get down if you can give me a number to ring. Alternatively, we could have dinner at Buckingham Palace in lots of privacy, he says. Epstein replies, BP, please. What time and how many, writes Andrew. Epstein replies, I want private time with you. However, I am here with, redacted name, should I bring them all so as to add some life? And Andrew writes, yes, plenty of space here for chat. Bring them. Jeffrey Epstein, he clearly had easy access to Buckingham Palace. Take a third email exchange I'll read you from the following month. Epstein wrote, see you tomorrow night for dinner. Andrew replied, great, where do you want to go? Private at BP or out in a private room or in a restaurant? Do you want company, and if so, have you got any in mind? Separately, in a separate email, Epstein wrote to Andrew, G is here with me. That could be Maxwell. I'm meeting with Eduardo at Cipriani at 1:30. What are you doing? Andrew replied, sadly can't. Have a lunch with Saudi prince and then out to secret intelligence firm. Free from 1800 before G comes to me at 1700. Epstein wrote, should I come there at 4 or where? Andrew told him, delighted for you to come here to BP. Come with whomever and I'll be here free from 1600-ish to 2000. There's also other paperwork. Talks about Andrew, a facial for the former Duke, an email from a woman to Epstein talking about a time that could be arranged, and separately an email from Andrew to Epstein saying, call me, please. Clearly they had a fairly close association, and these contacts.
Whew, it's a mess. This is a AI. I'm not even gonna go into it. This explains why the royal family, Prince William, got a crisis manager and took away former Prince Andrew title. They probably knew more dirt was coming out about Andrew. The thing is, royals can't get away from Epstein saga. Andrew is still blood. It will reflect on them too. Alright, let me pause this. Wonder what Trump will do today as a distraction. Wait until his... This is why all of the things that you see going on in the US is causing that. They do not want the people to know. So instead, they're distracting them with the ICE going door to door. Anyone who has been listening to my podcast, none of this should be surprised. I even talked about why he went after MS-13. All right, those gangs. That was his first. It's step by step. You have to put yourself into their shoes to understand what will you do if you were them. That's all. What will you do? So they are in a whatever mess they are in, and we already know the mindset of Trump. And you could learn a little bit, at least I did, when he was running the first time, where he went to his doctor's office, grabbed stuff and things, whatever. Okay, I mentioned it in past videos before, where the doctor then, when they went to the doctor's office, reporters trying to talk to the doctor, he was so laid back because he knew the type of things that Trump does. So he was like, hey, they came and grabbed his personal file and then leave. So from that you will understand. So once little things start popping out and he became president, his first thing, go after gangs. He gave the pretense it was gangs. So I can understand why the people will go for it, because in the neighborhood you do not want bad guys to be in your neighborhood. And I told you, this is why he was doing it. So when it's time for him to bring his people, now we are at the time where he's sending his people, ICE agent, to go literally without any warrant, going to people's house, so there won't be any resistance. If gangs were around, so those ICE agents would have been met with those MS-13 type of people. Okay, so he was doing things step by step. Guess what? Go back to some of my videos. They're still there. Alright? But anyway, it's just... I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. And with the Andrew thing, with the Maxwell thing that's happening, there's so many people that's involved. The moment that I saw that Maxwell Black Book has over thousands of names and all sort of walks of life, businessmen, politicians, musicians, entertainers, you name it. If you are a person of importance, or you could make decision or whatever, they'll put you onto the list, grab some personal information about you when they need you to shut your mouth and to help destroy the country, like what's happening right now. And they'll say, look, you better stay out of this or else I'll put this public. That's pretty much it. The US is being destroyed from within because of blackmail. These people, when I used to talk about Angry Bird, they're partying, they're dancing and all of that. Meanwhile, they're grabbing their eggs. That's what it. Okay, that's what it was. While those politicians, whoever's on Maxwell Black Book names, whatever, when they were having fun with kids, okay, other people's children, Meanwhile, the eggs was they were keeping a tab on them. When it's time for them to do what they're doing now in the US, those people stay quiet. Politicians who people vote for, who should be protecting the Constitution, they shut their mouth. Alright, so that's that. Alright, let's go to the next tweet. So none of you should be surprised. If you've been listening to some of my podcasts, you should not be surprised. And at the time, yes, they did sound ridiculous of me saying it, but we are seeing it now. I remember talking to my cousin about things like that. She couldn't believe what's going on. I was like, this is what's going on. This. And months later, she called me, oh my God, you were right, because I don't understand what's going on. She never see things like that before. Alright, next tweet. Who's behind the idea that Venezuela's Delcy Rodriguez worked with the CIA to topple Maduro? Who's behind the trend de Aguva fearmongering? Two hosts you must know about: Martin Vadil, Mossad, and Gary Bernstein, former CIA. I explain. I don't know anything about that. Whatever, I didn't listen to her yet. But whatever she's going to talk about, it's probably another branch of it. But from my perspective, the thing with Venezuela was a setup. If they did not want Maduro to be in power, or whatever plot that they sell to the public, if it was true, they would have get rid of him. Okay? But I saw this. I thought I'd share it with you. I'll see if it makes sense to me. I didn't listen to it yet. Screenshot, okay?
New day, new ho. I gotta tell you about Martin Rodil. He's a Venezuelan Roger Stone, meaning he's a fixer, a con man, a professional rat fucker who is behind a lot of the destabilization and disinformation around Venezuela, Maduro, and the scourge of Tren de Aragua, and the new Venezuelan president, Delcy Rodriguez. He's now been spreading the idea far and wide that President Delcy Rodriguez worked with the CIA to topple Maduro, when he himself has worked with current and former CIA. And it's not just CIA, but likely Mossad. You see, he's Israeli, not by birth or religion, but by trade. The country gave him citizenship when he was booted out of Venezuela, and he's worked with a covert team of Israeli contractors that have meddled in 33 elections worldwide. And he's made a killing in global extortion, extracting money from rich Venezuelans in exchange for his connections to U.S. government organizations that could help extract them from Venezuela.
The only thing I could make out of this, because right now, the oil from Venezuela is obviously making a lot of money. Remember, Middle East needs to be built. They need to build those whatever Trump's son-in-law was saying that they're gonna do in the Middle East. They need money to do that. So they hijacked that weak country to sell this oil. From my understanding, the money is going... let me pause for a second and search that. I'll continue. You know what? Let it play. Just listen. Meanwhile, I'll type the question. Let's continue.
Organizations like the DEA, the CIA, the State Department. The deal is they give him dirt on the Venezuelan regime, real or not, and he gets them connected. He also worked with Elliott Investment, the firm belonging to that other hoe I told you about, Paul Singer. Rodil works hand in glove with yet another ratchet-ass hoe, MAGA propagandist Gary Bernstein, a former CIA agent who helped in the 2019 attempted coup against Maduro to install Guaido, and who was behind the lie that the Dominion voting machines in the 2020 election were somehow made in Venezuela to flip ballots and rig the election for Biden. He's also been involved in spreading the lie that Tren de Aragua is both connected to the Venezuelan government and that it has received training to do things like riot in the United States and even possibly being behind the LA wildfires last year. And these conspiracies are printed by news media like the Miami Herald, even though lately these two hoes mostly go on Lara Logan's show.
If I don't remember what I said during the wildfire in California last year, and I was like, it was pretty suspicious. I probably said it in one of my videos, but let's continue. The way that it came, it was very suspicious. Not only that, I think one of the things that I said around that time was that Trump wants to go after California voting How many points? Electoral college is, let me open a new tab. California. It's pretty big. California. How come? Okay, let me just click on it. 54. That's huge. Okay? This is why he went there. To start getting people, you know, scared or whatever. 54. That's huge. These are the huge numbers. And Texas is 40. 30 is for Florida. New York, 28. So that 54 electoral college, he wants it. I remember saying something like that. But anyway, let's get back to this. You have to plug these things together. Many people might say he's crazy, he's not that, but Trump is he knows what he's doing. Or at least the people around him who want him to remain in power know what to go about. And this is why they do not want to get rid of the electoral college. Republican in particular. Let's continue.
Year. And these conspiracies are printed by news media like the Miami Herald, even though lately these two hoes mostly go on Lara Logan's show. Lara Logan is what happens when you order Laura Loomer in blonde. He's also spread the lie about the non-existent gang Cartel del Sol and drug trafficking. And remember, there is no mention of Cartel del Sol in the indictment of Maduro, nor is there any mention of fentanyl. That is how paper thin this accusation is. While there's no open connection between the Trump regime, Rodil, or Bernsen, everything that comes out of J.D. Vance or Kristi Noem or Marco Rubio's mouths has their fuck shit all over it. So just treat any story coming out about Venezuela, and especially any story about Tren de Aragua, with not just a grain, but a massive ice-melting block of salt.
The only thing I could say about this, I don't know anything that she's talking about, okay? But I've spoke about the Venezuela thing, how it started, the involvement of the UK, and how the UK got itself out of it. But they all are connected. Maybe this is another branch of it. I came across it. I thought I'll learn something. I don't know anything about that aspect that she's talking about. But I'm not going to discredit her for it. Okay? This is what's good with people who's paying attention. They know different branch of things. The other thing I would say as well is that it's very sad with what Marco Rubio get himself involved in, knowing that his family was from Cuba and he was born in the US. But this is the part where they put the red carpet for them, and then once they pass through, they roll it and forget about the others. At the same time, we blame them. They got us into this situation. The other thing as well, not too long ago I said, this is why Harry was saying was much bigger than just us.
You looked out for me for so long, but the media is a powerful force. And my hope is one day our collective support for each other can be more powerful, because this is so much bigger than just us.
Us meaning him, Harry, and Meghan. What they were going through, it was much bigger. That's why he kept his mouth shut. He knew it's way bigger than what's going on. And I think, in my humble opinion, I don't have no proof of that. It's just my instinct talking here. There's people who's keeping tab of some of those things. Each time they get close or they have a target in terms of who they're going to arrest, who's involved, they're about to, do some arrest, whatever it may be. But each time they get to it, it seems like there's another branch. So it makes them go further into discovering or investigate what else. But meanwhile, the way Trump is doing things, by the time, if what I'm thinking is true, by the time we do arrests or whatever it may be, Trump is destroying what keep us safe in terms of our arsenal, our military kind of things. I don't know. All right, so that's that. Let's go to the next tweet. She blocked her comment, but there's some retweet. I'm not going to go into it. Oh, I did type some stuff. One of the things that I asked, the oil that's from Venezuela, the money that they're making, because I think they need the money from the oil to build Middle East. They grab as much money as possible from the US, the people's money, and whatever they did with what country is natural from, I did look it up and I forgot. So what, I don't know, they just want money. They really want to build whatever it is that they said they're gonna build in the Middle East. All right. So the money from oil they sell from Venezuela is going to Qatar. All right. You could pause and read it. So far, they have got $2 billion deal, and there's so much more. You could pause and read. I just wanted to know where it's going, what bank it's going to. It's going to Qatar. Qatar is saving the money. They made sure not to put in the U.S. Money. Then U.S. could have control of that if Trump doesn't win the election again. All right, so that's that. Let's go to the next tweet. Is that the one I just did? Okay, so there's another thing about politics here. Yikes, people are spilling the tea about James Talarico. So James Talarico is this guy. I believe he's running for Senate against Jasmine Crockett. That's him. The moment that I saw him talking, I was like, it's too good to be true. Coming from Texas, I didn't have the same vibe as the other guy. What's his name? Who was running for the governor of Texas, and he lost. What's his name? I'm looking at his face. Where Meghan went to see the, where the shooting was, and Meghan went to volunteer, and when he came in with his camera, Meghan left. That guy. What's his name? Let me pause. This guy, Beto O'Rourke. I don't have the same vibe, the same feeling as him, as this guy. Oh, where is it? Him. Okay, when the first time I came across him, and I was like, he's saying all the right thing that people wants to hear right now, while Trump's popularity is being in decline. He's saying all the right thing that a Democrat, the opposite political party of Trump, the Democrat, which is Crockett right now, and by the way, he is a Democrat as well, okay? Okay? He's saying all the right thing. I didn't really feel his authenticity. So it seems like people are finding more stuff out about him. So this is the guy this tweet is making reference to, okay? So let's listen. I'm not from Texas, so let's listen.
Remember how this summer we were supposed to have this all-star statewide slate that was going to run in Texas, and then it didn't happen? And you know how everyone's been asking what happened? Well, I'm ready to spill the tea. Several of you have sent me this article from today in which James Talarico says, I called Jasmine Crockett in July and she said she wasn't running. That's why I decided to run for Senate. As someone that was involved in discussions with all of the camps, Summer, I know it's not exactly true, so let's rewind. You see, for the first half of 2025, James was actually very committed to running for governor. That's what he had built his brand on being the anti-app. And it's already been publicly reported on that he was in conversation with Beto and Joaquin Castro to form this statewide slate. Castro saying, I'll run for attorney general since I'm the only attorney in the room. And it would have been a great slate, because think about it. Beto probably could not have gotten donors to buy into a rematch against Greg Abbott, but for a Senate run where he can show them that he's got a full slate supporting him, something that he didn't have in 2018, donors are ready to bite. And all three candidates would have benefited from Beto's massive infrastructure that he's built. Republicans would have also spent most of their money attacking him, and we probably could have snuck the other two through. But then in late spring, a consultant named Liz Smith flew Talarico out to New York City. She wined and dined him, introduced him to some really big names. And when he came back, his staff has said they were caught completely off guard and shocked to hear him say that he no longer wanted to run for governor and was all in on running for Senate. All summer long, people worked to try to get this statewide slate to happen, knowing that it would be very hard to imagine a scenario in which we didn't win one or multiple of these seats.
All right, the key thing here, they do not want Crockett, the black lady, to win the Senate race. In the moment, Crockett and Talarico are running for the primary. Whoever wins will face the opposite political party, which will be whoever the Republican nominate to go to Washington, and then they will face off. Okay, so they're starting to put roadblocks for Crockett. So the first roadblock will be this gentleman, Talarico. So if Talarico wins, they already got him in his pocket, and the Trump type of people pocket, because they're paying him. Okay, so they prefer Talarico, and whoever the Republican nominate to run against him. So whichever two wins, they're fine with it. But Crockett, they do not want her, because she will, do the people's business pretty much. Because Trump want a Republican to win the Senate state, because he doesn't want to be, what's the term they use where they take him out of office? That's the key thing here that is being played right now. So Trump is sending his minion or whoever is involved who wants Trump to remain in office, or trying to invest, trying to persuade those politicians. This is why they did not want the money out of politics. But let's continue.
Still, James was set on running for Senate and told people Paxton was an easier opponent for him to face. One seat instead of multiple seats, or one man. When he launched, that was the end of discussions, and everyone was willing to put on a face and play team to support him. Enter Jasmine Crockett. In late fall, poll after poll was showing that she would have a huge lead if she entered the Democratic primary. To her credit, Crockett said she was going to run her own polling to look at how she would fare in general, particularly looking at if she could expand the electorate, something that she thought was key to winning a statewide seat in Texas. And it's important to remember that this was all happening at the same time as major gaps were being found in the Talarico campaign. There was serious concern about whether or not he could actually carry the ticket. And so everyone played this game of will she, won't she, but by the end of November, it was clear that Jasmine Crockett would be entering this race. And so once again, discussions started to try to build this statewide slate again, but in order to do so, Talarico would have to drop from the Senate race and move over to the governor's race.
Let's keep in mind, by the way, Crockett and James Talarico are two Democrats, okay? So they need to face each other first. They want one of them to win so they could face a Republican, okay? So what the Republicans are doing right now, they're trying, in my humble opinion, for Crockett to not even make it to the next step. They do not want Crockett to be against a Republican. Okay? They really don't want her anywhere near any office because she's so good. I don't know. I hope Texans open their eyes. Alright, so let's continue.
If he would agree to do so, there were multiple names ready to go that would file for other statewide seats to give us the best slate possible to make sure that we flip seats up and down the ballot in November. But at the advice of his consultants, whose experience is in federal campaigns, not state campaigns, he once again was the cog in the wheel when it came to getting a statewide slate. This was even after Crockett suggested they share internal polling to see who was truly best fit to run in the general election. And as someone who traditionally focuses primarily on our down ballot races and knows we have to win 14 state house seats before the 2030 census, if Democrats want a chance at drawing those maps, was a big red flag in a sea of flags that I'd already talked to the campaign about. So that's the tea, and that's one of the reasons why you started to see a change in my coverage of the Senate race. And it's one of many reasons that I'm supporting Jasmine Crockett for Senate.
All right, so I'm not from Texas. She knows more. I came across it. I thought I'd share it with you. So this is my last one for this video, and I'll create another video and with different topics. And I think there's some politics, maybe not. Okay, bombshell confirmed. Whistleblower Chuck Borges was right. Elon Musk's Doge team at Social Security illegally copied 300 million Americans' private data onto unsecure servers, then signed secret agreement with political operatives to use that data to overturn election results. This isn't government efficiency. This is data treason. The Trump administration admitted it all in court. They covered it up for months while Borges lost his career for telling the truth. If there's no justice for this entire American corruption, there'll be no peace. Prison now. Everything is playing out for everybody. Okay? By now, I don't know. The only group not that I agree with it, the only group I will understand if they vote for Trump is white men. That's it. Any other group should not. Let's listen. 2 minutes and 55 seconds. Screenshot.
Social Security Administration now says members of Elon Musk's Doge team working at the agency last year accessed and shared sensitive data. In a court filing earlier this month, the Trump administration amended what it had previously disclosed, writing that one Doge employee at SSA signed an agreement with an unnamed political advocacy group to analyze voter rolls to, quote, find evidence of voter fraud and to overturn election results in certain states. In another instance, a Doge member shared personally identifiable information in an encrypted email attachment, though the government says they aren't sure what specifically was shared or whether it was accessed. And SSA also said Doge shared data on third-party cloud servers that are, quote, outside SSA's security protocols, so the agency doesn't know what information was shared or if it still exists on the server. The latest disclosures seem to confirm some key concerns first raised in a whistleblower complaint last summer filed by the agency's chief data officer. That whistleblower, Chuck Borges, involuntarily resigned from government in August and filed a retaliation complaint late last year. I spoke with him earlier alongside his lawyer, Deborah Katz. Welcome to you both. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Great to be here.
So, Chuck, before we get into the details, these new details, this new filing rather, confirms what first you shared when you came forward in your whistleblower complaint months ago. What did you think when you saw all this?
Let me move it back slightly. This is why Trump does not want to fund public broadcasts. You see here, PBS News Hour. This is a station that is public, partial, I think, you know what, instead of me trying to figure out, who fund PBS? PBS is funded by diverse mix of corporate sponsors, private foundation, individual viewers, donation, pledge, member of station dues, and historically federal. Okay, this is the part here where Trump does not want the government to fund it. Okay, some part of its funding come from the federal through cooperation for public broadcasting. All right, so there's all of that. When I saw this, that's what popped up in mind. You will not hear other mainstream media talking about this, what is being discussed right now. The moment that I saw PBS here, I had to mention it to you because Trump have been against funding public broadcasts. So they're talking about true information. All right, so let's listen.
You shared when you came forward in your whistleblower complaint months ago. What did you think when you saw all this, especially after months of government denials?
I'll be honest, I was pretty disappointed. This is a situation where the public loses. My disclosure essentially outlined three concerns that I had. The first was that Doge employees had inappropriate access to our data. The second was that they violated a temporary restraining order. And that the third was that they had uploaded sensitive Social Security data to a cloud server without adequate security controls. In all three of those instances, the public's data is at risk. So to have validation of those first two concerns is disappointing, especially in light of the fact that these could have been investigated and uncovered months ago.
Well, speaking to that timeline, Deborah, the court filing was on January 16. There were a number of corrections to the previous testimony from agency officials. What's your understanding of why it took so long for the government to correct those previous testimonies?
Because the government's not telling us the truth. I still don't think we know the full story. The allegations that Mr. Borges raised are quite serious, and he raised them with the federal agency that is responsible, Office of Special Counsel, for investigating his disclosures. And rather than investigating it, they've kicked it to a different agency in terms of his retaliation claim.
So I don't know. I do not know. Oh, there's more. Let me listen to this. It's only 50 seconds.
Within 15 minutes of Doge engineers creating accounts, usernames and passwords within internal systems within Doge, within 15 minutes of the creation of those accounts, somebody or something from Russia tried to log in with all of the right credentials, meaning they had the right usernames and the right passwords. And the question is, how do they get that and why? The second question that I have is that why is it that from what Dan has seen, as well as others, because we have spoken to other individuals who are able to corroborate this, which is that some of the data is also using Starlink as a backdoor. And that's another way to get data out of internal databases within agencies. And Starlink has now direct access where information is likely, and we believe is funneled directly into Russia. Within 15 minutes.
Wow, that's deep. I don't know if that next election is gonna be really legit. We are in deep trouble. I blame all of this the people who did not see the sign. They voted for racism, and this is what happened. So that's it. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. If you want to support this channel, I'm not gonna put this video on this channel. I'm gonna put it on here. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. If you want to support this channel, there's a PayPal link and a Cash App link in the description. You could donate. Those who have donated, thank you. Alright, so that is it. The numbers still haven't changed. Alright, so that's it. There'll be part 1 and part 2 of this recording. And I'm gonna do another video, and I think hopefully, okay, the next tweet that I'm gonna do for the next video is this. So I have to read this first because the next 3 tweets that I have will be making reference to that. I didn't want to read it, but I will be reading it on my next video. Alright? Because a lot of the squad were making reference to that. Thank you for watching.
It is a great privilege to be with all of you today.
You know, we ask for forgiveness and please come back.
Find the love and happiness that I'd hoped for all my life. You are all in this together, and if I may speak personally, we are all in this together, because asking for help was one of the best decisions that I ever made. You will be continually amazed how life changes for the better.